you crafty makers out there. My name is Ashley and this is the Red-Headed Crafter. Today we got some more fall DIYs, so if that's something you want to see, grab your coffee, your tea, your snacks, and let's get into the video. The first project we'll be using this board from the Target Dollar Spot and a decal that I printed off with my Cricut. I'm just going to weed the vinyl and I'm using HTV vinyl, and it is amazing. It's so much easier to work with. So I just weeded out my design and then used my regular iron and a piece of wax paper to get the design on there. Varnish your design really well and then take a piece of wax paper and put on top of it, and then you add your heat, and it's really pretty simple. I just hold down the iron for about 15 seconds and do it in 15-second intervals until your design until your backing peels away pretty easy. And then that's pretty much it for this one. It was really simple and it's so cute. This is how it turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the description box or in the comments below. Our next project will be harder to do, has a lot more steps. I took all these different pumpkins from the Dollar Tree and designed them in different ways. But first we're going to work on the base. I took 2 of these plaque signs, put some wood glue on the end with some super glue as well, then put them together and used a couple clamps until that dried and had a nice hold. After that, I took this vinyl, permanent vinyl from the Dollar Tree, and measured to see how much we needed, made a little slit there, then used my paper trimmer to cut down 2 pieces the same exact size, and then just peel away some of your backing, not all of it, just enough to start putting your vinyl on those plaques to cover up the design. Once I got all that vinyl on there, I just peeled away the backing and tucked up that little excess up underneath the plaque. Then I done the other side the same way, and we got really lucky because this roll of vinyl was the same exact size as my plaques, so it just took 2 pieces. If you're unable to find the vinyl at the Dollar Tree, then you can use scrapbook paper as well. So we are going to start working on our pumpkins. I just took a variety of different scrapbook papers that all matched and started covering my pumpkins with them. Just trace your pumpkins out on the scrapbook paper, cut them out, and then attach them with Mod Podge or a glue stick would work as well. The best way to work with Mod Podge is making sure you're doing thin layers and allowing those layers to dry before you put a top coat on. I didn't need a top coat on any of these pumpkins, so the top coat is usually where it goes wrong. Once your pumpkins are dry, you can sand off the excess scrapbook paper, giving a nice even finished look. On this pumpkin, I took some antique Waverly wax and put it on the pumpkin front and back, and I didn't worry about those raised pieces because I'm going to cover those with scrapbook paper. Now, some of the footage was lost because my kids erased some of my videos, so yeah. This one I painted in cashew, and the next one I painted in the white from Waverly. These are all Waverly paints. I don't know what we're gonna do when we can't find them. This one was done in crimson and a little bit of that brown color, giving highlights. This is our scarecrow. He did not match my aesthetic that I was going for, so I'm just gonna remake his clothes. I just used the scarecrow basically as a form. Cut his shirt out of this buffalo check pattern. And then his pants or his overalls I cut out in this burlap from Walmart, and I've had this roll forever. Just pop his head off and then pull his body off and set that skewer thing to the side. We're going to use that. We're going to put him back on it. To get the shape of his pants, I cut out a slight triangle out of the bottom, and then now we're just going to hot glue those seams back together. Once your seams are all glued back, then you can work on the bottom of his pants. Here's where you're going to want to do what I say and not what I do. Before you tie your piece of jute string on there, stuff some raffia up in there like the other pants had, because I just had to hot glue mine in the end of it like this. I just had to hot glue it and stick it right there. But if you put the raffia in before you tied your piece of jute string on there, then it would give you a better hold and it might be a little easier to do. But anyhow, I got it done and it looks the same. Next, I put the seam on using a piece of jute and just hot glue that right on the front, and then flip it over and glue it up the back, then cut your piece string. I worked on his shirt. Just took that fabric and just glued it right on top of his previous clothing. Here's where I learned. I went ahead and just removed the previous raffia, put the new raffia in with some hot glue, then gather up your fabric and raffia together and tie your piece of jute around that. Once you get both of your arms tied off with some jute, we're going to work on his overalls. I took a piece of burlap and just made a two thin even strips and hot glued them on the front of his shirt. Then for his pants, I took a piece of scrap burlap and cut it into 2 strips and stuffed those down in his pants to make them thicker. So we're going to glue his body back to his top half. So glue his bottom half to his top half and just fold those pants on like a present. Hot gluing when needed. The next thing I done was add hair with some hot glue and raffia, and then I'm going to glue that. I'm going to glue his head directly onto a piece of fabric that I cut out in a triangle. Add raffia to the top of his head, and then all you're going to do is glue another piece of fabric that's cut out into a triangle. You can see it up to the left. I just glued that piece right on the top and folded the seams in the back and hot glued them. Then I tie a piece of jute to the top of that and put his body completely back together on the skewer. Use the existing hole that you have ready. I glued a little shoestring ribbon, and that will complete him. Now we're going to work on our pumpkins. I went ahead and embellished them with just, you know, different things, some greenery, some wired jute, just whatever you like. Next, we're going to start gluing our pumpkins together how we want them to be on our base. Now, I just periodically set it up to make sure it was level. I did cover one of my pumpkin forms with this burlap and put rope around the edge. And in order to glue that onto my pumpkins, I just used 2 Jenga blocks and hot glued them to the burlap pumpkin, and then hot glued those Jenga blocks to my other pumpkin. I glued that harvest word down and add that turquoise pumpkin, and then it's time to glue it to the base. Now this is the back. I ran a long bead of hot glue underneath the pumpkins. Then I started adding some tumbling tower blocks. That will allow them to stand up and have a good hold. Once all your blocks are on, add 2 more wherever you're adding your scarecrow to have a level base to glue your scarecrow down on. And this is how it turns out, guys. It is so cute. It is a pretty substantial project. It was fun to create. Next, we're going to take this plaque from Walmart and the calendar there from the Dollar Tree and cut out this grateful, thankful, blessed, or thankful, grateful, blessed. Yes. Oh. Cut that image out, and then we're going to Mod Podge it to this plaque from Walmart. Sand down your plaque, get everything smooth, and then start adding your Mod Podge to your calendar image. Like I said, the trick to Mod Podge is making sure you do a thin layer and allow it to dry. Then you're going to put your image on in the middle of the plaque and smooth it all out. Once all the wrinkles are out and that's dry, go ahead and add a top layer of Mod Podge, and you will be able to leave it just like this, and it's beautiful like that. Or you can take the next step and add some solo wood flowers and greenery pieces. I absolutely love these solo wood flowers. My first time ever working with them, and I am in love. I will be definitely ordering more. Add those flowers and greenery pieces until the image in the back is completely covered. I just continue to add those greenery pieces and flowers until my eyes were happy with the way that it looked. My granddaughter is playing in the background, and my boys. So if you hear any kids, it's life. I then embellished it with a twine bow, and this is how it turned out. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Alright, you guys, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under the Redheaded Crafter. And thank you guys again for watching. Bye!